This past Easter, my dad, a pilot for a cargo shipping company, was in town and offered to take me across the inlet for a nice dinner. As his co-pilots were away from their families, they were also invited to join, and gladly did. While I waited for them to validate their tickets in the ferry terminal, I spotted an unlikely duo standing by the door. Two guys, late 20s at most, one large and oafish, the other shorter and movie star gorgeous. I looked just in time to see Oaf nod in my direction, and movie star make a face that can only be described as, meh, I'd fuck her after a few beers. They stood close to us in the terminal. Keep in mind, this ferry carries hundreds of people at a time, and I told my dad about the nod. He laughed and continued talking to his co-pilots next to us. Every time I looked over, movie star was already looking at me. I shook my head. We sat on opposite ends of the ferry. Oaf and movie star debarked before us. I was glad they were gone. We walked up the street from the terminal to the restaurant, and when I turned back to take in the view of the city across the water, was surprised to find the duo had somehow ended up behind us and were slowly walking up the street. I didn't think much on it. It was a busy area and lots of pubs were around. I did think about it more when they walked by the restaurant, peering intently into the front window where we were standing waiting for a table. They smiled, exchanged words with each other, and kept moving. I let out a sigh of relief until they walked back by from the opposite direction. They stopped. They leaned on a bike rack in front of the restaurant a few more times and left. Movie star stared over his shoulder the whole time. Over dinner, I informed my father and his co-pilots of the events that transpired without them even realizing. They laughed about it and eventually had me laughing about it too. We'd never seen the pair of guys again. 3 hours later, as we waited for the return ferry, I was talking to our company, recounting a story from earlier at dinner, when I spotted Oaf and movie star over my dad's shoulder. Movie star was looking my way. Scratch that. Staring. I quickly informed the guys. They were shocked and kept looking back at the pair. There was a miniature showdown in the ferry terminal as each party stared each other down from opposite ends. As the ferry returned, the men were apprehended by security and taken away in handcuffs by local authorities. When we asked around, apparently the men were spotted pickpocketing multiple people throughout the night. Thank God I kept my eyes on them, because I knew for a fact they had their thieving eyes on us.